In this video of coordination complexes, we are going to study about the effective atomic number rule, which is also called as EAN rule. We are also going to study the isomerism and valence bond theory. First, let us start with the EAN rule. The effective atomic number equals to the total number of electrons around the central metal ion which is present in the complex. The EAN rule states that the metal ion continues to accept the electron pairs until it attains the electronic configuration of the nearest noble gas. So if the EAN number is equal to 18, which is argon, 36, that is krypton, 54, xenon, and 86, radon, then we can say that that particular complex obeys the EAN rule. In order to calculate the EAN rule, there is a formula which is EAN is equal to the atomic number of the metal, which is denoted by capital letter Z, minus number of electrons which are lost by the metal to form ion. This is denoted by X, plus number of electrons donated by ligands, which is denoted by capital letter Y. Let us consider the example of CO inside the brackets NH3 6 times, which is raised to a net charge of +3. Here the central metal ion is cobalt, hence the value of capital letter Z will be equal to 27. So the atomic number of cobalt is 27. Next, we need to find the oxidation state of cobalt. So we will consider it as X, plus we have 6 NH3 ligands. So 6 into NH3, which will be equal to the net charge, that is of +3. After solving, we get X plus 6 times NH3 is a neutral molecule, hence the value will be equal to 0. So 6 times 0 is equal to +3. So we'll get it as X plus 0 is equal to +3. So ultimately the oxidation state of cobalt is going to be +3. So the value of capital X will be 3. Now, in order to find the value for capital letter Y, we need to look at the ligands. So we see that there is only one type of ligand, that is NH3, and 6 ligands of the same type are present. So one ligand will give 2 electrons each, that is a pair of electrons. So since there are 6 ligands, each ligand is going to give 2 electrons, so 6 into 2 is going to give 12 electrons. Now we have all the values of X, Y and Z. Now we just have to use the formula of EAN, which is equal to Z minus X plus Y. So in place of Z, we are going to substitute 27 minus 3 plus 12. So we get the answer as equal to 36. 36 is the atomic number of krypton, which is the noble gas, and hence this complex obeys the EAN rule. However, there are certain compounds or complexes which do not obey the EAN rule. Next topic is isomerism in coordination compounds. Isomers, they are different compounds which have the same molecular formula. The term iso means same. However, their chemical reactivities, physical properties like color, solubility and melting point will be different. Isomers are classified into two types, namely stereoisomers and constitutional or structural isomers. Let us first study about the stereoisomers. Stereoisomers, they have the same links among the constituent atoms, but the arrangement of atoms in the space is going to be different. Now, under stereoisomers, there are two types of isomers, that is geometric isomers, which are also called as distereoisomers, and the second one is enantiomers, which are also called as the optical isomers. What are geometric isomers or distereoisomers? These isomers, they are non-superimposable mirror image isomers. Now what is the meaning of non-superimposable mirror image? So here is a picture. There is one isomer, and when a mirror is placed, you can see that the groups which are present on the left appear on the right, and which are on the right appear on the left. Now, geometric isomers, they are possible only in heteroleptic complexes. Heteroleptic complexes means different ligands are present in the complex. In this isomers, there are cis and trans type of arrangements of ligands. Now, what is the meaning of the word cis isomers? Cis isomers means identical ligands occupy adjacent position, whereas trans isomer, identical ligands, that is same ligands, they occupy the opposite positions. Now, cis and trans isomers, they have different properties. Cis trans isomers is observed in square planar and octahedral complexes. Square planar, where there are 4 ligands, and octahedral includes 6 ligands. Let us now study the cis and trans isomer in square planar complexes. The square planar complexes are of the type MA 2 times B 2 times and MA 2 times BC. So these are the type which exist in terms of cis and trans isomers. Now, in this, M is going to be the metal. A, B and C, they are the monodentate ligands. Monodentate means they will be having only one donor pair. So let us now consider an example here, that is platinum NH3 twice Cl2. So in this case, your metal is platinum. Then you have NH3, which is the ligand, so we can denote it as A. How many times? Twice. Then Cl is another ligand, so we can write B. How many times? Twice. So it is of the type Ma2B2. So this is how you arrange the ligands around the central metal ion. Now, if it is cis, then we know that the two identical ligands, they occupy the adjacent position. So if you look at the cis isomer here, Cl are the identical ligands, so they are occupying the adjacent positions. Whereas in trans isomer, you can see the Cl atom, they are occupying the opposite position. The cis isomer which is formed here, it is more soluble in water if you compare it with trans isomer, because the cis isomer, it is cisplatin and it is an anti-cancer drug, while the trans isomer is physiologically inactive. Here is an example of another complex, that is PTNH3 H2O Cl2. So this complex is of the type Ma2BC type. Now here platinum is the central metal, Cl, which is twice, will be the ligand A, and NH3 and H2O will be B and C respectively. So if we observe the cis and trans isomer here, we know that cis means the two same ligands will be present on the adjacent sides. So Cl are the two same ligands, hence they are present on the adjacent side. Whereas in trans isomer, we can see the two similar ligands Cl present on the opposite side. If you observe the shape of this coordinate complexes, then it forms a square planar geometry. Next is the cis and trans isomers in octahedral complexes. Octahedral complexes are those in which there are 6 ligands present. So the octahedral complexes are of 3 types, that is Ma4B2, Ma4BC and MAA the whole bracket twice B2. The AA here is a bidentate ligand, which means that it has 2 donor pairs. Let us take the example of CONH3 4 times Cl2 coordination sphere the whole raised to plus charge. So the net charge on this coordination complex is +1. This complex is of the type Ma4B2 type. Here M is the central metal ion, which is cobalt, NH3 is the A ligand and B is Cl. Now in order to write the cis isomers and trans isomers, we need to check the identical ligands. So we have 4 NH3 ligands and 2 Cl ligands. Since ammonia is 4 times, we are going to write the identical ligands on the adjacent side. So as you can see here, for trans isomers, this identical ligands that is 2 Cl ligands and 4 NH3 ligands, will be written in the opposite direction. Next is the example of platinum NH3 4 times ClBr coordination sphere with having a net charge of 2 plus. So this coordination complex is of the type Ma 4 times Bc type. The central metal ion is platinum. A4 is NH3, which is 4 times, and B and C are Cl and Br respectively. So if you look at the cis isomer, we can see that NH3, which are identical, they are present on the adjacent sides. In trans isomer, these identical ligands, they have to be opposite to each other. So you can see NH3, they are opposite to each other here. The next example is COEN twice Cl2 coordination sphere with the net charge plus 1. Now this coordination complex is of the type M bracket AA twice B2 type. So here AA means bidentate ligand. The EN group here is the ethylene diamine. So ethylene diamine has 2 donor pair, that is nitrogen. There are 2 nitrogen donor pairs here. For the cis isomer, you can see that the 2En, that is the ethylene diamine groups, and the 2 Cl ligands, they are present adjacent to each other. Whereas in trans isomer, the ethylene diamine and chlorine atoms are present opposite to each other. This bracket is very important here because it indicates the coordination sphere, and we have to mention the charges, that is the net charge as well. Next are the optical isomers, which are also called as enantiomers. The enantiomers, they have identical properties. However, they differ in their response to the plane polarized light. That is, when they rotate towards the right, that is clockwise, it is called as dextroisomer, while the other, when it rotates to the plane in respect to the left, that is anti-clockwise, then it is called as levoisomer. Dextro is denoted by small letter D and levo is denoted by small letter L. Here is an example of optical isomer in octahedral complexes. So as you can see here, it is COEN thrice the whole raised to a charge of 3 plus. So here CO is the central metal ion and En is ethylene diamine, which is going to have 2 donor pairs each. So you can see here in the diagram, En is joined to the cobalt central metal ion with the help of 2 sides, that is it has 2 donor pairs, right? Now if you look at the mirror image, you get it exactly the same because all the 3 ligands which are attached to the central metal ion are same. Next is the octahedral complexes existing as both geometric and optical isomers. Here they have taken the example of PtCl2 En, that is ethylene diamine twice the whole raised to 2 plus. So the net charge on this coordination complex is plus 2. In this isomer, only cis isomer is possible. So only cis isomer exists as a pair of enantiomers. So as you can see here in the picture, Pt is the central metal ion and we have 2 chlorine ligands and 2 ethylene diamine ligands. Now chlorine is a monodentate ligand, hence it has only 1 donor pair, whereas ethylene diamine is a bidentate ligand and it has 2 donor pair. That is why you can see 2 arrows. That means 2 nitrogen are going to donate electrons to the central metal ion. If we place a mirror, we get the L isomer. So the initial picture or the first picture is of dextro isomer, and when we place a mirror, we get the L isomer. However, in trans isomer, we see that Cl is placed on the top and bottom, whereas En, that is ethylene diamine, is placed on the either side. So even if we place a mirror, we are going to get the same structure. Hence, enantiomer of trans isomer is not possible. Next are the structural isomers, which are also called as constitutional isomers. Now these isomers, they possess Different linkages among their constituent atoms and also their chemical formulae are same. Structural isomers are classified as linkage isomers, ionization isomers, coordination isomers, and solvate isomers. Let us now study the 4 different types of structural isomers in detail. First is the linkage isomers. These isomers, they are formed when the ligand has 2 different donor atoms. For example, the nitrite ion, that is NO2-, it has 2 donor atoms, that is nitrogen and oxygen as well. So here is an example, that is CONH3 5 times NO2 bracket, that is coordination sphere, the whole raised to a net charge of 2+. So here you can see that the ligand NO2 is coordinated to the central metal ion by the nitrogen atom. The second example is CONH3 5 times ONO, the whole raised to 2+. So you can see both the examples are similar, but here the ligand NO2 is coordinated to the central metal ion through the oxygen atom, whereas in the first case the central metal ion is bonded to the nitrogen atom. So we can say that the nitro complex, it has the CON bond, and the nitrito complex, which is linked through the COO bond, and these are the examples of linkage isomers. Next are the ionization isomers. Ionization isomers, they involve the exchange of ligands between the coordination and ionization sphere. So here is an example, that is in the coordination sphere we have CONH3 5 times SO4. Outside the coordination sphere we have Br, so it is acting as a counter ion. The second example is CONH3 Br, and outside the coordination bracket we have the SO4 group. So if you compare the two examples, the Br ion which is outside, which was acting as a counter ion, in the second example it is inside the coordination sphere. Similarly, SO4, which is inside the coordination sphere in the first example, is outside the coordination sphere in the second example. In other way, you can say in the first compound, the SO4 2- group, it is bonded to the cobalt in the coordination sphere, while Br- it is in the ionization sphere, which is acting as a counter ion. Whereas in compound 2, Br is linked to the cobalt, that is the central metal ion, while SO4 2- group is present outside, that is in the ionization sphere. If the above complexes ionize in a solution, they give different ions. For example, CONH3 5 times SO4 in the coordination sphere and Br, it will split up as CONH3 5 times SO4 plus Br-. Similarly, the second coordination complex will split up as CONH3 5 times Br plus SO4 2-. Next are the coordination isomers. Coordination isomers, they show interchange of ligands between the cationic and the anionic sphere of different metal ions. Here are the examples of coordination isomers. CONH3 6 times is cationic and CrCN 6 times is anionic. I have already told you, when the coordination sphere has a positive charge, it is cationic, and when the coordination sphere has a negative charge, it is anionic. Whereas if you look at the second example, CrNH3 6, which is cationic, and COCN6 is anionic. In the first isomer, cobalt is linked to amine ligand and chromium is linked to cyanide ligand. In the second isomer, chromium is linked to amine ligand and cobalt is linked to cyanide ligand. So it is very much visible that the ligands, they are interchanged. So these are the examples of coordination isomers. Next are the solvate isomers. They are also called as hydrate isomers when water is used as a solvent. So these are again similar to the ionization isomers. So let us consider the example. Inside the coordination sphere, we have CrH2O 6 times, and outside the coordination sphere, we have Cl3. And the second example is Inside the coordination sphere, we have Cr H2O 5 times Cl, and outside the coordination sphere, we have Cl2 H2O. So in the first compound, we see that the solvent water, it is directly bonded to the central metal ion, that is chromium, whereas in the second compound, H2O appears as a free solvent molecule. I'm talking about the one which is present outside the coordinate sphere. The H2O, the 5 H2O ligands, that is the aqua ligands which are present inside, they are attached to the central metal ion. However, the H2O which is present outside the coordination sphere, it acts as a free solvent molecule. The next topic is regarding the stability of the coordination compounds. The stability of these coordination compounds can be explained by understanding their stability constant. So you can basically determine the stability of a coordination compound by identifying the metal-ligand interaction. We are already aware that the metal, it serves as the electron pair acceptor, that is, it is going to accept electrons from the ligand, whereas the ligand acts as a electron donor, which means it is going to donate its electron to the central metal ion, which helps to form the coordinate bond. So the metal ligand interaction can also be realized as the Lewis acid Lewis base interactions. This is also what we have done before. So stronger the interaction, greater will be the stability of the coordination complex. Let us now consider the equilibrium for the metal ligand interaction. So the reaction is M raised to A plus NL raised to X minus is a reversible reaction giving the formation of Ml N raised to A plus Nx minus. The small letters A and X, they denote the charge on the metal, ligand and the complex respectively. Let us write the equilibrium constant, which is represented by capital letter K for the above reaction. So K will be equal to, we know that whatever is there on the product side is written in the numerator and the terms which are present on the reactant side are written in the denominator. So K will be equal to mln the whole raised to A plus Nx minus upon M A plus product of concentration of Lx minus the whole raised to N. Here N is the stoichiometric coefficient. So the stability of the complex can be explained in terms of the equilibrium constant K. If the value of K is higher, then the stability of the complex is larger. Here are some examples which help us to identify the stability of coordination complexes. First is Ag plus ion, that is silver ion, reacts with 2Cn minus, that is the cyanide group, which gives the formation of a coordination complex, that is AgCN2 the whole raised to minus, and the equilibrium constant K is found to be 5.5 into 10 raised to 18. Next example is Cu2 plus, that is copper ions, react with 4 times the cyanide group, that is Cn minus, to give the formation of CuCN4 the whole raised to 2 minus. The equilibrium constant K is found to have a value of 2.0 into 10 raised to 27. The third example is cobalt, that is CO3 plus ions react with 6 times ammonia to give the formation of CONH3 6 times the whole raised to 3 plus, and here the equilibrium constant is found to be equal to 5.0 into 10 raised to 33. So if we compare the three values of the equilibrium constant here, it is very much evident that CONH3 6 times raised to 3 plus, it is going to be more stable when compared with the coordination compounds formed with the help of copper and silver. Let us now study some factors which govern the stability of complex. So there are two factors which affect the stability of complex, that is the charge to size ratio of the metal ion, and the second is the nature of the ligand. So let us study the first factor, that is charge to size ratio of the metal ion. So higher is the charge to size ratio, greater is the stability. So if we consider the divalent metal ions, their complexes show the stability in the following trends. For example, you have Cu2 plus whose charge to size ratio is greater when compared to Ni2 plus ions, CO2 plus ions, Fe2 plus ions, Mn2 plus ions, and finally Cd2 plus ions. Now these are divalent metal ions because they have a valency of 2 plus. The way in which the above metal ions are arranged in the stability order is called as the Irving-Williams order. If you look at copper and cadmium, they both have the same charge, that is plus 2. However, if we consider the ionic radius, then copper 2 plus ion has a radius of 69 picometer and Cd2 plus, that is cadmium 2 plus ion, has a radius of 97 picometer. So the charge to size ratio of Cu2 plus ion is going to be more when compared to that of Cd2 plus, and that is why Cu2 plus it forms more stable complexes when compared with Cd2 plus. Though the metal ions are with the same charge, that is plus 2, we need to check the ionic radius in order to calculate the charge to size ratio. The next factor is the nature of ligand. The second way in which the stability of the complex is affected is the way in which the ligand can easily donate its lone pair of electrons to the central metal ion. In simple words, that is the basicity of the ligand. So if the ligands are stronger bases, then they tend to form more stable complexes. Ligands act as bases because they donate their electron pairs to the central metal ion to form the coordinate bond. So this was all about the factors affecting the stability of coordination complexes. Now we are left with the valence bond theory, that is VBT, which we will be studying in the next video.